Okay, so welcome everybody. My name is Caroline Henry. I am a journalist writing for Wine Searcher and obviously here on Terroir Champagne. On Champagne, I've lived in Auvillers in the Marne department for the last 14 years. And the idea of doing this live or the series of live, which we will start today, is to give you, the watcher, some more information and a behind the scene view into Champagne. So my first guest, I am really, really honored, is my good friend Yann Tourbe, who is a local journalist. He writes for L'Éclair. He's based in the Aube department, which is the other department. So it's good we have the two departments here. And he will, talk with me today about the state of the vineyard. As most of you know, I'm not very happy with it. And then also we will talk about the economy, because Yann knows the economy really well. And I think that this could add value for all of you champagne lovers, wherever you may be. So without further ado, I am going to ask Yann to say a few words, and then we will start this short live that we will do. It takes about half an hour. I think we will not go too long for the first time. So Yann, tell me a little bit more about yourself, things that I may have missed in my
Okay,
introduction.
thanks for the introduction. I'm a French-speaking person, so I can't speak in English, but you'll have to pardon me. Okay. So I've been writing about champagne for the 12 last years in L'Éclair. Okay. Mostly about the economics of champagne, but also about the growing. Okay. What can I say?
Let me ask you then, what do you
Yeah,
think of what we currently see in the vineyards
uh,
around where I live and around where
yeah,
you are? You were next to me in
yeah,
2018 when we
yeah,
heard the
yeah,
announcements
yeah,
by Jean-Marie Barrière and Maxime Toubar. So we are in 2025, and it's obvious that
yeah.
we are not in a state of no herbicides. So
No, and it's
what
not
are
for
your
tomorrow.
views?
It's not for tomorrow, I think, because the thing is, we just lived through a grueling 2024 year, and for most wine growers, they reversed to herbicides because it's much simpler. And the thing is, when you move the soil, you grew the mildew a lot more. So I think there's an argument for the wine growers to use herbicides. I'm not saying I agree with it. I just say that's
Pixie's
one
coming to
point.
say hello. Sorry.
Hello, Pixie.
No.
So that's the thing. So yeah. There's a lot of herbicides still today,
Yeah,
and
but
it's not moving. It's not moving very fast.
no, it's not moving very fast. I know that we had a grueling 2023. We had a very difficult
Yeah, yeah,
2021. However, with the economics that we're going to talk about just now, we know that the commercial yield is not going to be big. Everybody knows this
no,
is
no, no,
not a
no.
secret. This was talked about in the AVC. The president spoke about it. Well, at least David Chatillon spoke about
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So this has been posited now 3 months ago, I guess, a little bit more than 3 months ago. So a little bit more effort could be made. On top of that, a lot of houses are talking about the way they are working in their vineyards. And to be honest, a lot of
yeah,
houses have almost, if not totally, eradicated herbicides in their own vineyards. So why going back this much? I know it's been complicated to hear, but we know that that we have lost. We know that customers are not really interested in this. We know these promises were made,
That's not a
and we
point
know that
that
the herbicide IFT has gone up the last 2 years.
yeah.
So, obviously this year, to me, I don't know, maybe it's better in the Aube, but here around Ovile, people that are reading the Substack, I've put some pictures. It is looking pretty dire. It's been a long time that it was
Yeah.
that bad, actually.
Yeah. I think it's a bit better in the Côte d'Ivoire, but you still have lots of herbicides.
Why do you think
And
it's better in the Côte d'Ivoire?
the soil is different, and the tilling is much more used
Mm-hmm.
here. So when you till the soil, you don't use herbicides after.
Okay. Yeah. Well, here there's
Yeah,
people using herbicides and tilling afterwards.
yeah. But
That's the richness of the mine, I guess.
yeah. The thing is, you don't. Most people use it, but a bit less, I think.
Okay. All right. And I have my next question is Tom Hewson, who's a journalist as
Yeah,
well, and writes on Champagne,
yeah,
wrote a piece yesterday. He referenced, some of the pictures I made,
yeah,
and he was saying that nothing will change
yeah.
unless authorities
I
crack
just saw
down.
it. I just saw
It's
it.
true. He says
Yeah,
unless authorities crack down, so the
yeah,
French authority or European authority,
yeah.
which, we know is not that easy. In my opinion, I think that things will only change, and I know we talked about it before, when the houses crack down.
Yeah.
Uh, so, because I think they actually have more power than, the.
It's I think it's a bit more complicated than that, but I agree. I agree with what you just said. But the thing is, the question is, who's got the power in Champagne? Is it the houses? Yeah, they do. But even the houses do not agree between themselves. So it's not that simple. And in the vineyards, you've got wine growers and you've got winemakers.
Yes.
That's not the same.
No, I
And
know.
the thing is, you've got a lot more wine growers
Yeah, grape
than
grape growers,
winemakers.
people that grow
Grape
grapes and
growers,
not make
yeah.
wine. Yeah.
They grow grape and they sell it, and that's who has the power, in fact, in Champagne today, I think,
Yes.
because they do control the syndicate,
Yes.
okay, and if they do control the syndicate, they do control the appellation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
And
yes, indeed.
that's the point. If you want to forbid herbicides, you have to take on the appellation,
Yeah.
and you
So
can't do that if you don't have the syndicate.
no, if you don't have the syndicate, but when we speak about the SGV here,
Yeah,
we know that it's not gone through because obviously there was an
yeah,
opposition launched against the neck foils or the imposition of the neck foils. But we know that there is a change which basically prohibits putting herbicides in the middle of the row. You have
Of
40
course.
centimeters each side. That leaves roughly 10, 20 centimeters,
Uh,
which from the
yeah,
pictures I've posted,
20,
we know people do not respect.
something like 20 centimeters. Yeah,
Yeah, depending on how things are
yeah.
planted. Obviously, the people within the SGV told me that they took this because these were the numbers given nationally because they also need to work for VSL. But
Yeah.
what for instance, I really or what intrigues me is why was nothing said about this change? I don't know if you heard much
Mhm.
being said about this. I knew that this went through because I was watching what was going through the cahier des charges for the neck
Yeah.
foils. But if I wouldn't have watched out for that, I wouldn't have had any idea that this was going through. So why do you think that the SGV is putting something in the cahier des charges and then not communicating with the people?
Ah, um, Why does it do it? They do it because they're planning for larger vineyards, um, VSL, like you
Hmm.
said, vignes semi-large. Uh, that's what they're planning for.
No,
And
I can see
yeah,
that's what they're planning for, but why not talking about the
yeah,
fact that they're imposing this herbicide ban? They're talking less about it, but they have been talking about the fact that everybody needs to
yeah,
be,
yeah.
certified one way or another by 2030. They're now talking about, corporate and social responsibility, that they need to have, some kind of certification there again, RSE,
Hmm, hmm,
the
hmm.
Comité Champagne sent something out. They deliberately chose to change the cahier des charges because it was in there already for pre-emergent herbicides to put all herbicides in, but they actually did not communicate it. So they didn't communicate it.
Uh, I, s-
Uh,
I, I think that's a negotiation
that's a
inside
negotiation.
inside the SGV itself, because you have multiple point of views
Hmm.
inside the syndicate, and they were fighting each other about the bottling and things like that, and they just threw this herbicide ban as a token, a,
Okay, so it's like
a good
it's a
gesture.
token to try and appease the people that
Yeah, yeah, I think.
that that are opposing
Yeah, yeah,
the neck foils. Okay, all right. Okay,
yeah.
that's very interesting point. Okay, so like let's talk about the economy then, because
Yeah,
uh,
because
you
that's the
know
point, in fact.
it's an interesting point.
Yeah.
I said in my article for Wine Searcher in yesterday. It makes for sobering reading. Let's put it that way. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, you can say that.
it's especially, I compared, like I know you do, I compared several years in a row.
Yeah, yeah.
But for big export markets, for instance, the UK and Japan, we since we've literally in the last 5 6 years have lost,
Mm,
or actually since 21 22, it's not even that long,
mm.
25%. The US kind of maintained. I'm going to ask you to explain the US because you know more about that.
Yeah,
But and there were a lot of countries this year that saw significant declines. We looked at the February figures, which
yeah, they're not
we
good.
got through
Yeah,
different channels. Then the
yeah.
CIVC, they are official though, but again we see that exports were up in January, slightly,
Slightly.
1.3%,
Yeah.
but they're down again now. I think it's 5 points. I don't have the figures.
No, no, no,
5.5
no, no. It's
points.
much. I think I have the figures just there. It's 8.3% down
The
in
export, no, I
February.
think the exports was 5.3. The whole the year on year figures were down 8 point something percent, but the exports
Oh,
going
yeah, but
to outside of
the thing is,
France.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
So
I
so
see what you
maybe
are. Yeah,
maybe in January there was something to do with Trump. Maybe
yeah.
you can share with everybody, the information you found out from
Yeah, or
the.
I just asked for it, in fact. The thing is, in Champagne, we have the figures from the CVC, okay?
Hmm.
And these figures are correct,
Hmm.
okay? But they don't, um, it's not the real image.
Hmm.
Fact, because the CVC is counting the bottles who are going out of Champagne.
Hmm.
So they counted last year something like 27.2 million bottles going out of Champagne to the
Hmm.
United States. Okay,
Yeah.
and the thing is, I just asked the customs in Washington to confirm the figures, and
Hmm.
they told me, "Oh, we have 35.6 million bottles."
Okay.
So okay, so I asked them for the 5 last years, and the thing is, each time you have more bottles coming to the States than going out of champagnes to the States. So there's
Okay.
something like a double export scheme
Yes. A
going on.
re-export, yeah.
Okay, yeah, the re-export. So you have, I think, United Kingdom, Singapore, countries like that. You have containers going from Champagne to there, and then going to the States after that.
Hmm.
So in Champagne, you don't count them as going to the States, which in
No,
fact they are.
but most of them, except the ones that might go through a broker in France, most of them would be export bottles going somewhere else, and I
Yeah,
presume somewhere where the bottles are kept into bond so that no tax
yeah,
has to
yeah.
be paid when
There's
they
no
come in.
tax, I think.
Yeah.
There's no point is paying double times the taxes. So obviously there's no tax.
Yeah. So when I looked at the figures you had, and
Yeah,
I read that article,
yeah,
which is really great. One of the things, actually, I calculated the average price per bottle.
yeah.
I did it in dollars, for Wine Searcher. So yesterday, basically, I realized that it was like $116 in 2023 on average per
Yeah,
bottle,
yeah, yeah,
while it went down to $86, $87
yeah.
last year.
It's not surprising.
Yeah, so we can see
It's
that,
not
but I think
surprising.
I think the other thing that we see as well is that even these are this is the amount paid by the importer as the bottle comes in.
Yeah,
So these bottles obviously are probably cuvée prestige or special
yeah, yeah. Of
bottles,
course.
because even at 86, it's a significant amount to
Yeah, yeah.
come in. Knowing then afterwards the American three-tier system, we can imagine these bottles are sold very very expensively.
Yeah.
But what I saw, even though the price went down, what I was really interested in was that the volume that was re-exported, had increased. And do
Hmm.
you think this is a trend that we will continue to see if Trump really does put 200% tax on bottles from
I'm not.
champagne, or
I'm not
will they
sure.
have to pay it anyway because they are from Champagne?
Yeah, I'm not sure there's a point to re-export from that point of view because champagne is a tax category for the customs.
Okay,
So that's what they told me. So
okay.
even if you put champagne in UK and then ship it to the States,
Hmm.
you will have to pay the taxes.
You
You
will
have
have
to
to
pay the
you will have to pay the
tariffs.
French
Yeah,
tax,
yeah,
okay, the Champagne
yeah, yeah, yeah.
tax, okay.
You
All
will have
right.
to pay
So,
the
because
tariffs. So
basically, I calculated as well, the costs
yeah,
associated to this,
it's
and
staggering.
it is not looking great.
Yeah, it's not.
However,
The thing is, you just bear with me there. Uh, the American market for champagne, okay,
mhm,
in 2024, it's okay, 35.6 million bottles.
okay,
Okay, you agree with that? It's 1.5 billion euros.
okay,
So
yes,
that's a third of the value of export for champagne.
yes.
Champagne can't lose it.
Yeah, no, but
It's a
but yeah,
catastrophe.
but the thing is, that is the amount of money that you have at the basically, because you got the money from the customs. So
Yeah,
obviously when we look at the money, the bottles going from
yeah, yeah,
here,
yeah. Of
it
course,
was like
of course.
820,000 euros, I think.
Yeah,
Then
yeah, yeah,
obviously there will be some from the UK, some Singapore is down the list quite a bit. So, it's maybe not 1.5 billion euros, but
Yeah, of
you will be
course.
close to 1.1, 1.2 billion
Yeah.
euros, I would guess. So,
Yeah, but I'm not. I mean, I agree, but I'm not sure about that. So
okay, what I wanted to ask you there as well is
yeah,
I looked for the article in Wine Searcher as well at some data from the SIP source, and it is the data from, sorry, I'm just gonna try and get the name exact because I am useless with those kind of things. I'm just looking at what I wrote yesterday, or well, actually the day before, on Monday. So Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of America, WA, they have data of everything that they sell, wholesalers.
yeah, yeah,
Okay? So that is not necessarily sold in the shops or in the restaurants, but
yeah,
it's gone. So it's gone out of the distribution system. And they basically said that they sales have declined by 10% compared to
yeah,
2023, which is
yeah.
obviously not in line with what we saw. So, in my opinion, that means that they hold quite a lot of stock. I know they hold quite a lot of Prosecco
Yeah, but
stock as well. They've been
they
building.
were already holding a lot of stocks.
They were
In
already holding
fact,
a lot of
yeah,
stock.
yeah, yeah. In fact, they were already holding a lot of stock because when I spoke to some wine seller last year,
Hmm.
he was already telling me they were overstocked in
Okay.
Champagne. Okay, and there's one reason for that. Uh, there's multiple reasons, but one
Okay.
of the
Tell me
reasons
why.
is that one of the reasons is that champagne is too expensive, has become too expensive since
Hmm.
2021. In fact, since
Yes.
the year after COVID, and you had uh, bottles which had doubled the
Yeah.
price. Okay, and the customers they say that, and
Hmm.
so the thing is that's why I was not surprised to see the price was falling
Okay.
uh,
Those
because
those import prices. Okay.
yeah, it's not surprise because the prices were too high.
Yes.
So some of the big dealers have to lower the prices,
Yeah.
and they know
That
that. They know that.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. It's one of the things that I wrote that we
Yeah,
actually see, even in Champagne, a very slight decline in euros, a little bit
yeah,
bigger in
yeah,
dollars, between the 23 and the 24 price. It's more pronounced if we take all
yeah,
the bottles coming in from into the US, and then if we look actually at the difference in bottles, obviously it's
yeah,
even
yeah, yeah,
more pronounced, which shows or which could indicate that the prices are coming down, and these taxes could potentially consolidate this. What do you think? Because obviously, even if the States is overstocked, and even if we
yeah,
don't send many bottles from Champagne, obviously it's not good for the Champagne economy here,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
of
it
course.
still means that consumers access to Champagne because they're there.
Yeah,
Um, but we know, I read an article yesterday in the New York Times saying that consumer confidence has dropped less than
yeah.
50%. People, don't want to spend money. So, how do you think this could impact, Champagne and its place in the sparkling
Uh,
wine market? Because we know
the
sparkling wine market has been growing.
yeah, and champagne
Prosecco has taken a
is
huge
losing.
part,
Yeah, yeah,
especially in the States, in the UK as well, but
yeah,
especially in the States, they keep on consolidating growth. I think they grew something like 17%. I don't, my computer went off, so I can't see. So how do you think this could impact, and is there something that we, or that not necessarily we, because you and me, we are journalists, but that the
yeah.
champagne need to do to improve desirability,
The thing is, okay,
reduce the price
that's
basically?
a complicated question the thing is, we are already seeing the decline right now, because when we look at the February figures, we see that champagne has something like 270,000
million, million, million.
million, yes, million bottles shipped over the last 12 months.
Yes,
Okay, so that's um, back to 2001. In fact,
yes,
we're back 25 years ago.
yeah.
Okay, and that's a big problem, because there was a strategy from Champagne to help the prices from they were calling it Champagne 2030. Okay, that was the
Yes.
strategy. You export and you help the prices, and you will make big money. Okay, that was the thing, but it's falling apart.
Yeah.
With the American market, it's falling apart, because without the American market, uh, you're lacking one third of your value in export.
In export and value, yeah, you lack a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, yeah. That's it.
And I think also, but the UK market has reduced significantly. A lot of
Yeah,
markets,
of course.
the UK market was declining, like the French market. It
Yeah,
was the biggest export market. It declined. It got
yeah,
overtaken
yeah,
by the United States.
yeah.
Brexit
In
boosted the
2016,
sales, but then they
twen-
dropped again.
2016 in value, 2021 in volume.
Yeah, the
Uh,
US, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is, we see that the sparkling wine market has become,
It's still growing.
has broadened. There's
Yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
choices,
It's still
and
growing.
the traditional markets drinking champagne have declined. I
Yeah,
think that the biggest example is France. The French market. I
yeah.
looked yesterday. The French market declined by 66 million bottles since
What is the
2011.
French?
That's huge.
Yeah,
It's
but
34%. That's a significant
what is the
amount.
French market? The thing is, what is the French market for champagne? You
It's
have
their
two
biggest market
markets.
today
Yeah,
still.
yeah, yeah. It still is, but you have two markets in France. You have mass market, okay, with hypermarkets,
Hmm.
supermarkets, okay, and you have some lower level retail, okay,
Hmm.
and there's a gap between the two, okay, because you have some winemakers who still sell easily their bottles. They don't have
Hmm.
any problems because they don't go to the supermarkets.
Oh yes, I know.
The market which is falling now is the mass market, because
It's
the
it's.
thing is, a, you have a product which is
Uh-huh.
called champagne. Okay, uh, it's a mass product, in fact.
Hmm. It is a mass product, yes,
Yeah, and that's
which
it.
we're
And
not
that's a
supposed to say, but it is
yeah,
a
but
mass-produced product.
that is a point. That is a point. It's a mass product.
Mm.
Okay, you can't have three 300 million bottles of I don't know, Chanel number five. Okay,
Okay.
you see it. It's a mass product. So it's this market is falling,
Hmm.
and you
But
can
but this
see.
but how do you see this going? Because we know that if the market contracts, now I've seen,
Yeah,
and I know you have seen figures as well. I have seen figures, for instance, when there was the VSL,
mhm,
I saw a study which probably wasn't meant for my eyes, but it was a study by David Menival from the Crédit Agricole,
yeah,
which
yeah,
was
of course.
talking at that time about yields between 6 and 8,000 kilograms per
Yeah, of
hectare,
course.
which we know that for a lot of people is not viable. It's not viable because because of the land prices, because of other
Yeah,
things. So that basically would mean that we would see in Champagne a consolidation, if I can say it like this, of the market
yeah, yeah,
that we have seen in cognac at the end of the
yeah.
90s.
Of course, of course, of course. That's a point, in fact, because when you have yields of 7,000 or 8,000 kilo,
Hmm.
yeah, only in Champagne do you talk in kilograms
Yeah.
for the yields. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah,
Uh,
it's true. Yeah, we
bec-
talk here in yields, but it's not
yeah, yeah,
just that. Like I have the figures from Corpinat as well.
yeah,
Their
yeah.
yields are, if they have 5,000 kilograms per hectare, they are, which they count as well in kilograms per hectare actually,
Yeah, yeah, but
which that's for them a
that's
really
Spain.
good year.
It's a bit different.
But it's for them a really good year, and it's the
Yeah,
same for Cava because they just cannot produce more because
yeah,
of the conditions, the dryness, all of this. If we see
yeah,
Cava's gone organic, last year they had to curb markets. The German market was curbed, the UK market was curbed because they actually didn't have enough wine
yeah,
to send out because they had so many dry years. So when we see that at one point, Champagne is or wants to be
yeah. I can
the
see
king
where
of
you're leading.
wines or the king of
Yeah, yeah,
sparkling wines.
yeah,
So at some point, how are they going to justify you talking about a mass product? But we
yeah.
just need to, we need to find a way. Where do you see this going? Are we going
I,
to
I,
keep this crown as the king of wine and only produce
yeah.
very high end
Okay.
wines? Or are we going to fall into like we're going to do a Pierre Cardin thing and we're going to fall into the
Yeah,
other
yeah. No,
into the other sparkling wine?
the thing is, Champagne has to choose a way. Okay,
Mhm.
and we don't know what it will be, but Champagne has to choose a way between mass market and high end. Okay,
Between mass market and high market.
high end,
High end,
high
yes,
end
sorry,
market.
I didn't
Yeah, yeah.
hear you. Pixie
I'm sorry,
snoring, sorry.
that's my accent is very bad.
No, no, it's
Uh,
not you, it's Pixie. She's next to me,
yeah,
she's
yeah.
snoring, sorry.
Sorry, that's it. So Champagne had to choose between
Mm,
two
okay,
ways, and
all right.
it has not chosen yet. The thing is, it continue to pursue volume and prices in the same way,
Okay.
but it
So,
has to choose. And the thing is, if
and
you
do you think it
about
has to
organic,
choose quickly or not?
um in the next 5 to 6 years, yeah, I think
Okay.
That's quick for
Yeah,
Champagne.
no, I'm
I
just
think,
asking you, yes.
yeah, yeah, I think there's a problem with the American market, but it's not the only one. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because the French market is sliding
Yes.
since 20,
2011.
yeah, yeah, that's it, 2011.
No, I wrote it yesterday,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
why I
yeah,
know.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
not yesterday, 2 days ago. Sorry, I keep on saying
So,
yesterday, I think we're Tuesday.
and that's a bigger problem than the American market.
Yeah, in volume, yes.
Yeah,
And
and
the European market, it's quite uh, within our European
yeah,
allies, because we sell quite a lot in European markets.
yeah,
The
of course.
only one of the markets that did not drop too much was Belgium, which is traditionally
Yeah, yeah,
a solid market. It
yeah,
only went down by 5.2%,
yeah,
if
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember. But all the others, they dropped by double digits. And sometimes even, in the
Yeah, but
20%, not like 10 in
yeah,
the
yeah.
tens.
The thing is, you have to look at the figures in a way. You have to remember we are talking about 2024, so that's after 2023, which was the biggest year.
22 was the biggest year. 22, 20,
Yeah,
21,
23 in
22.
value,
No, but
23
I
in
looked at
value.
the
Yeah,
actually I went back to the figures. I
yeah,
went back to get old files that
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. Of
saved
course.
ages ago. The reports the CIVC posts every year. I
Yeah,
actually went back to the 2018 report because I've got figures to 18 in the report they have now.
yeah.
And these figures are not looking good for a lot of these markets because we've dropped back to mid 15,
Y-
16.
Yeah, but you have to look at the average price, in fact.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the price is up since 2018. Okay, so the price is up. So there's I'm
But
not
what is
sure.
the solution? Because to produce a bottle of champagne for a house today, to produce a bottle of champagne is expensive because the
Yeah,
grape price is expensive. And then, I don't really want to get into
yeah.
it today, but
No,
we
I
know
think
that there is too much dodgy quality. So there's too many grapes, being sorted out at tank level, which are paid again. So that
Yeah,
will add all to the price. And
yeah.
then obviously there's the price of aging and all of those things. So
You can
when we say the
say
price needs to come down,
no, but
how?
you can say a bottle of champagne with grapes and the glass and the aging and all the operations. It's like something like 10 to 12 euros
Okay.
without taxes. So that's very high. Okay,
Hmm.
that's very expensive. And after that, you have to ship it. You have to. So
Yeah.
it's very champagne is very expensive. It's a very
It's
expensive wine
It's
to
expensive
make.
to produce. So,
Yeah, it's expensive
dropping.
to produce.
I know we're back to volumes of like I say, the mid
Hmm, hmm.
2010s
No, no,
somewhere.
no. The
So it's
volumes
very
is
difficult for us to go back to the prices that were
yeah, yeah,
associated
yeah,
to get that market back up. So there's going to be, like you said, a choice needs to be
yeah,
made whether we want to be high end or volume.
yeah.
That's
And
one of the.
the thing is, I'm a little worried right now because I wrote a paper about
Hmm.
organic grapes
Okay.
2 to 3 weeks ago. Not about organic winemakers, but about
Grape growers, yeah.
organic grape growers and
Yes.
grape sellers, in fact. And there's too much of them for the market
For the
today.
market, yeah, there's
Yeah,
there's
for the
there's
market
very
today.
few houses
Yeah,
that
because
are buying organic grapes.
you have something like uh, 8% of the appellation area which is organic.
Hmm.
You have less than 2% of the volumes shipped out, which are.
Yeah, but I think
So
that's also
there's a gap. There's a
there's a
gap.
huge gap. So,
Yeah.
I think that there's difference, but I think there's just the main houses. If you're organic, it makes sense to
Yeah.
make your own wine, or unless you have a contract with a house like Le Clairbriand or Telmont, or
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
the
Clandestin.
Delvaux
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Devo cooperative
Yeah.
in the Orb. Otherwise, it will become very difficult. So for a lot of people that are going there that were selling grapes, I
Yeah.
know, for instance, Telmos is actively trying to convert their growers because they will
Yeah.
want more. But most people that grow organic grapes, they sell to the regular houses, and the regular
Yeah.
houses today do not want to pay more for organic grapes.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
have
Of course.
two different views there, if you see what I'm saying.
The thing is, they don't want to pay because there's something like a 30%.
Yeah, there's a surplus. They pay
Yeah.
25 to
Yeah.
30% more. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but I think that's not just it. It's because for most houses, I had this discussion several times.
Mhm.
There are a few houses, Canard du Chêne, for instance.
Yeah.
There
Same.
is, that's the first one I think of. They have a cuvée. They've had a cuvée a long time that is organic.
Duval-Leroy, they
But
had one.
most houses do not want to have a organic cuvée
But
because
how do you sell one organic cuvée?
that's it. And you sell everything else
How
that's
can you
not
have
organic.
one organic cuvée in your catalog?
Mm.
You can't. You can't have just one. You have to. Uh, the thing
Convert
is,
everything, yes.
yeah, you have to. If not everything, at least multiple cuvées
Yeah, I know.
which are organic. You have to.
And I know that's the complication. So
Yeah,
today
yeah.
basically we have Leclerc Briand and we have Telmont that are doing this.
Yeah.
That's their view. I think.
Clandestin, which is only organic, but only Côte des Bars. So it's
Yeah.
a particular one. But when you look at the, the, the big structures like Nicolas Feuillat,
Hmm.
okay, they just went from 30% surplus to 20. And I can tell you the grape growers are not happy with it.
No, I can imagine that they're not
Yeah,
happy.
I
I can.
just spoke to one yesterday, and he was quite mad about it.
Yeah, I can see. I can imagine. All right. Well, we're gonna. I think it's because we said we would do it till about
Yeah,
five
yeah,
o'clock, and I actually see
yeah.
we are 6 o'clock. I see we are 6:15. Maybe my watch is a bit
Yeah.
fast here in the house because I'm always running late, but we are getting there. So I just really want to thank you for this insightful knowledge in the
I'm so
economy.
sorry.
So I think it's always good to go back and forth and send,
Yeah, of course.
knowledge back and forth. I often do this with Jan. We speak to each other and we, compare notes and see, also personally, I don't know for you, but for me, if I'm not 100% sure if I understood something or whatever, I like to bounce it off you. Obviously, especially if I write for Wine Search and knowing that the audience is rather large that could read it. So I really appreciate that you wanted to do this for everybody to see. This video, I think I'm going to put it on, afterwards, make it available for everybody. And I really want to thank you for doing this, taking the time on your day off. I know. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. That's a pleasure.
And thank you. Continue to write these great papers. For anyone that can read in French, please follow Yann Tourbe in Les Éclairs, because especially if you're interested in the champagne economy, he writes really great papers. And, there's always things that you learn. I always learn things reading your papers. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, that's it. So my name is Caroline Henry. I am reporting, I guess, from Auvillers. I'm sounding like Jim Acosta here. I'm not Jim Acosta at all. But this was Terroir Champagne Live. The aim is to bring you a little peek behind the scenes of the real champagne. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oops.